Hello there. So it's one rule for us and no rules for them. Is this what they call being caught bang to rights? Because furious Tory MPs are launching into their own government demanding answers about a video that's just surfaced from last Christmas where senior officials were caught on video making jokes and laughing about a fictional Downing Street cheese and wine party. And Tory backbenchers are rightly getting it in the neck from their outraged constituents wanting to vent their spleens about it. And today at PMQs, Boris Johnson was forced to make a pre-session statement about it and then face 6 questions from the leader of the opposition Keir Starmer and 2 from the SNP leader in Westminster Ian Blackford on that one single subject. The PM said that he's been assured no rules were broken and that the Cabinet Secretary is investigating. But he's also now been forced to agree that the results of any investigation by the Cabinet Secretary should be handed over to the police. Does this draw a line under the matter? I would say not. Firstly, because it's being suggested that the government will be making a press statement on new restrictions this afternoon, but not informing the House first. A breach of the ministerial code and completely dismissive of the Speaker Lindsay Hoyle. Another kick in the teeth for democracy and also making new restrictions that we are all expected to follow like a flock of sheep. But also because what's becoming clearer since before the emergence of this Allegra Stratton video is the contempt our rulers have for the ordinary citizens is only exceeded by their contempt for the rules they concoct and impose on the rest of us. It's almost as if they believe they are exempt from catching the bug, while the rest of us must cower in terror in our homes or behind face coverings. It's almost as they believe that only the proles have to separate by a couple of yards to keep safe, while the political and wealthy aristocracy can mingle at will, with only their servants having to comply with the diktats. Just look back at the G7 and COP26 meetings, they were full of it. The blatant public signal from those at the top is that they can do as they please and the rest must obey. It's like going back 1,000 years into feudal times. And now we found out allegations that there was some sort of social gathering in Downing Street last Christmas, at the height of the scare, when the orders went out that it was illegal to do the very things they're accused of doing. And one has to ask, is this the tip of some privileged iceberg? And people are now asking, have we all been taken for saps over the last 18 months? And they are right to ask. If our government and its officials didn't believe in the rules last year, then why should the rest of us believe in them now? While they were putting out press releases and press conferences crafted by nudge unit psychological experts telling us we had to live in perpetual fear, they were there behind closed doors living it up and laughing. And then rehearsing press conferences about how they would deal with it if the proles found out and the difficult questions started being asked, with the Allegra Stratton giggly practice session taking place on the 22nd of December last year. If they were in hysterics over this last year, what do you think they've been up to ever since? Partying and laughing at us, one supposes. And what makes it worse is that the Health Secretary Sajid Javid has been pulled from public appearances as of today. Wonder why? Just as this new variant takes to the streets. Despite a Downing Street spokesperson saying, "There was no Christmas party. Covid rules have been followed at all times." Yeah, who's gonna believe that now? And right on cue, up pops Professor Neil Ferguson, he who went on lockdown shagabout, saying that we can't rule out another round of staying-at-home restrictions. On this, the Daily Mail understates the mood by saying, it is unclear how the British public would react to fresh social restrictions over Christmas after allegations surfaced this week that Boris Johnson held a rule-breaking lockdown party in Downing Street last December, when millions of Britons were unable to visit loved ones. Looking at the bunch of experts and politicians in charge and how they broke the rules, many ordinary people will be asking, why should we now follow them? Now I have to ask, did these people think that as long as the rest of us followed the rules, then the overall risk would be lower, thus allowing them to get on with meeting, greeting and enjoying themselves? But they forget how many people could not visit relatives before they passed away, couldn't visit the sick in hospital, couldn't get to care homes to see frightened elderly friends. And if ordinary people are not irate at all this news, then they are far more forgiving than I am. Those that make the rules should be more conscious of obeying them than the rest of us are. But it seems they were not. And we now need to know what else they've been up to. Have they all been doing the Hancock? Have they all done a quiet Cummings testing their eyesight? How can we trust any one of them, from politician to spin doctor to scientist? But do you think this is isolated to the UK? I would bet that just about everyone across the globe in a position of power or who has wealth and influence has been flouting the rules with abandon at every private opportunity. It's sickening. What do they think they know that they think we don't know that makes them think they're immune from the bug and immune from the law? How come they think their personal risk profile is so much lower than that of the rest of us? What makes them think they can't spread the big CV? But as an aside, what I find extremely irritating is that after 18 months of this, the first time that the government swings into instant action is when a very mild variant is identified. That's when the flights are instantly stopped and we're suddenly on the verge of more draconian restrictions. The only one they want to stop quickly is the mild-mannered one. Makes you ask why. Moving on. So, you got a smart meter fitted, but it turns out they're not so smart. But before I get onto that, I just want to say a massive thank you to all my super thanks, Patreon and PayPal supporters, as well as those that do buy a mug with my mug on it. Links in the descriptions box below. You really do help me keep this channel going. So what's this about smart meters? Well, we've all been bombarded with leaflets and text messages saying we have to get a smart meter fitted to help save the planet, etc. But there's a bit of a snaggette with that. The UK government is gearing up to switch off 2G and 3G networks and upgrade them all to 5G by 2033 because of the huge widespread need for 5G to drive our driverless cars and smart cities of the future. So those who have fitted these smart meters have not future-proofed themselves at all, because they have to be upgraded to 5G. According to the Telegraph, 24 million smart meters have already been fitted. Wonder what happens when the inevitable 6G and above comes out. So, is this going to be like the painting of the Forth Bridge? A never-ending cycle of replacement? And there is also new builds to consider here. Those new houses and offices will have smart meters installed from the very start, and they will also have to be upgraded. Then there's the upgrade needed when all gas boilers go and heat pumps get to be installed. I have to ask, is this really as green as we think it is, as all that old technology ends up in a landfill somewhere? So what's your opinion on our illustrious government? Please like and comment below. Please subscribe and like this video, buy a mug and support me on Patreon or PayPal, and thank you for watching.